All right, Sag, it's not bad. It's just basically saying that your life is too short not to know your own self-worth. So that death will come from lay vampire, mortal, finite, and fragile, and then self-worth from chakra wisdom. And again, life is too short to be wasting on things that are not worthy of you. Self-worth does talk about how do you think that you relate to the word deserving? Are you ready to allow yourself to receive better things? What do you feel like you actually deserve, right? And with self-worth, it's understanding that you deserve better than what you've had before, better than what you've experienced. All right, Sag. Here is your overall for the week. The Six of Cups. All right, so what is in the past? Oh boy, the Two of Cups. So if we're looking at the Six of Cups as the overall, immediately for me, I want to look at what is going on in the past. Because we're talking about reflecting on past memories. Definitely with the Two of Cups, we could be talking about a relationship from the past coming through, having a reconnection here with the Six of Cups. Now, this could be needing to get back to a place where you and a person saw eye to eye, right? Because the Two of Cups is the connection, the emotional connection and understanding between two people. But, it looks good. It's just needing to get to a place where you feel like that again. You feel like you're on the same page as, the person that you're dealing with here, no matter what the relationship is. In the present, the world, nice, very nice. So with the world being in the present moment, we're talking about a completion here, a big major completion. It is the ending of a chapter in a relationship, but it's in a very good way. It's opening the door to something better. I like when the world shows up, because it's saying that you're going to feel good. You're going to feel like you've accomplished something here, and again, it opens the door to, the new chapter, the new start. Now, with the Six of Cups being there, though, some of you are needing to take the next steps to move things along here and complete that part of the relationship out. But none of it looks bad, but we'll see. Shit. Future conditions, the Nine of Swords, and this is what I'm talking about, needing to take those next steps here. With the Nine of Swords, there may be some fear, some anxiety over something that may have happened in the past. This is more about worry about what's going to happen if this connection is made, I think, for some of you. But you're looking at a new chapter in your life. If you're talking about a relationship here, or, wanting to have a connection with possibly somebody from the past, the thoughts that are surrounding it is difficult at best. But you're doing this to yourself, though. But my worry here is looking at the two. What is it about the past with this relationship that's got you here? What are you fearing? What is it that you're worrying about? Why is it that we can't get to that completion? The world is right there, but moving into the Nine of Swords, to me, it's not happening in a good way for you, or it's not happening at all just yet. Shit. Wow, Sag, what's going on? The Eight of Swords is your best path to follow. You can't stay stuck with things that may have happened in the past. I look at just these two alone and think there's obviously a connection, a really good connection between you and another person. But how do you get back to that? For some of you, there may be a lot of fear and anxiety over, situations happening again that you may have thought were, successfully completed. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, but looking at the Eight of Swords, it may be your own thoughts that are keeping you trapped in this feeling. You don't want to stay stuck with a way of thinking about things that may have happened before in regards to a relationship. In your environment, the Four of Pentacles, it's Sag. Here's what I'm going to say. We're talking about a reconnection. With the Four of Pentacles being in your environment, you can't do that. You can't hold on to things that may have happened before, because the world is right there. All of that stuff is coming to an end. It's going to successfully complete itself out. You are looking at a new chapter here, and like I said, with possibly a relationship. But with the Four of Pentacles, it's like you're not willing to give what is necessary here to, complete this cycle. It's like you're not ready to. You're not really ready to let go of the past, the anxieties and the fears that you've had based on what has happened before. And it's got you stuck, And it's funny because sometimes I see the Four of Pentacles as a good thing, but other times, there's no point in doing that to yourself. That kind of stability is not helping you out later on, the stability that you think you have, right? Now, I don't think that it's the past repeating itself because of the Eight of Swords. I feel like this is your own thoughts that are keeping you stuck and keeping you from completing the chapter. But it's just not something that you're wanting to do just yet, or not wanting to give to just yet, because the anxiety may make you think that, those negative things are going to repeat itself. But I'm not seeing that though moving forward. I just see you being in that space based on the way that you're thinking. Yeah, your hopes and your fears, the Wheel of Fortune, the hope would be that this is a good turn of events, right? And definitely the completion of a cycle, the beginning of a new one, definitely a new start. But with the world being in the present moment, this is, the possible absolute completion. This isn't something that you should have to worry about moving forward, but the fear there would be that, things are just going to repeat itself. You think it's no longer going to happen, but here it comes again. And I go right back to the Oracle cards, right? Like, you need to realize your own self-worth here. And you do deserve better. Absolutely. But if this relationship is important to you, you can't stay stuck with fears and anxieties, because you will create that the more you think about it. And life is too short for that shit. And then coming out the Page of Pentacles, this is starting over. This is starting over with a relationship. There is definitely the opportunity for things to be completed. I think for the other person it is. I think for you right now, you're not really willing to let go because of the fear and anxiety of things happening again. And it's just keeping you stuck. But with the Page of Pentacles, like I said, it doesn't mean that this is going to happen again. Whatever it is that you're fearing may repeat itself. I look at the Page of Pentacles and think, as long as, the both of you are willing to do what is necessary here, there's no reason why this starting over can't build into something better. And then Judgment, I'm telling you. So what I'm looking at here, I think for a lot of you is going to have to do with a relationship where there is, some level of stability. Now, with the Four of Wands and looking at the Two of Cups, this could definitely be about wanting to progress to possibly moving in together. It could be the celebration of a marriage, a commitment here. But it looks good because to me, this is, especially with the Two of Cups, two people building their lives together. But you're not willing to give just yet based on things that have happened in the past, to completing out this cycle. But yet, with Temperance, and there you are, you're trying to get yourself in balance. The problem is the fears and anxiety surrounding this, is keeping you stuck in a pattern that, may make you feel like you're constantly starting over with this person, needing to start over again, and not wanting to have to go through that again. Now with Judgment, it is what it is. You're going to have to review it. You're going to have to make, that accurate assessment here. And it can't be based on fear and anxiety, because again, it's just a mental trap with the Eight of Swords. Lay it to rest. The past is the past. There's no point in it continuously being brought up, especially with the world being there. Like, I still see this whole situation ending in a really good way and opening the door to possibly, celebrating again with that Four of Wands being there. But you need to lay it to rest, because what it's doing to you is not good, right? But, that depends though on what you've experienced. But there's no point in replaying the past over and over again. And then stuck, yeah, and you are stuck, right? The third eye. Needing to open up the third eye and start visualizing. And visualizing things going in a better direction for you, right? Being open to the possibilities of what you can create and manifest based on what you can visualize. Assurance. Some of you are needing some damn assurance that things are going to be okay. But this is, the universe telling you that everything is okay. But it's like you don't see it, which is why you're needing to open up the third eye. Otherwise, you're going to continue to stay stuck. But again, for me, there's like a level of understanding depending on what has happened in the past. It doesn't look like it's anything that's super horrible, but it was enough to cause fear and anxiety of it happening again. But I don't see that. I see you starting over and building things back up, and needing to keep yourself in balance. I don't think it's about patience here. I think that you've been patient enough, but you got to get control over your thoughts. All right, Sag, whispers of love. The heart of the matter. Have faith, trust your faith in this situation and the heart of the matter. There's more going on than meets the eye. Recognize what this is all about. And there's no deception here. If you're getting down to the heart of the matter, it's going to be about, the thoughts that are keeping you stuck, and recognizing that and seeing what you really need to make this work for you again, and have faith in this situation. Life is too short. If this relationship has importance to you, no matter what that is, it's worth letting go of the past, especially with the world being there. I can't get over that. It's right there. It's right there in front of you, but you have to be willing to give what is necessary to reach that kind of completion. So things can be rebuilt here, that both of you can learn from the experiences of the past and use that information to build something better.